My name is Craig Johnson. I'm a partner in the law firm of Parsons, Bailey & Latimer in Salt Lake City. I've been practicing law mainly in the international mining transactional work for over 40 years.
I'm Nancy Johnson. I'm Craig's wife. I have a degree in political science, but for the last 22 years I've been practicing interior design in the Park City and surrounding areas, including Salt Lake.
Well, it was quite strange. I mean, basically we were trying to kind of find a way to retire. At 70 years old, I figured we'd put in enough time, and been very, very active in a number of things. Done a lot of cross country. We've been very active in the cross country ski community. We've loved hiking, sailing, a lot of fun things over our years in a lot of different places all over the world.
So as you can see, Craig was planning on retirement from the law, but he was not going to retire from life. We had a lot of things that we really wanted to do. Wanted to sail some more. We wanted to, I was looking forward to traveling around with him. But on November 15th, 2020, all of that changed.
It was fairly, I woke up, I usually get up about, 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's just my usual time. And I woke up, this was on November 15th, and I didn't feel any different than I did any other day, but came down, flipped on the TV, and it was just, I couldn't read any of the words that were on the TV channel, and I couldn't read any of the words that were on my computer manual.
And this is kind of interesting because my husband, he reads music, he played piano and organ, he reads Chinese and writes Chinese, and he says he doesn't even understand what this is. And I said, well, we're going to take you to the emergency room, and that's when they found a 1 centimeter, it appeared to be like a tumor on his left occipital lobe, which would explain why he could not read. So we got in the Monday after Thanksgiving to see the neurosurgeon. What the results were was that it was glioblastoma, stage 4 cancer. It was terminal. And he went back in and he got out as much as he possibly could and then closed up. And the miracle is that I heard my husband's voice, and he could see me when he woke up. And I was grateful that he had gotten through the surgery as well as he did. Why we're sitting here and talking to all of you, and why we are coordinating with the Utah State Bar, I happened to put in a telephone call a few months back to a friend of mine who had moved from Park City to New Jersey, and she revealed to me that her 37 or 38-year-old son-in-law, who was an attorney in Boston, who had 3 kids, had just been diagnosed with brain cancer. And we were devastated because he was a young lawyer in practice with young children and a wife who was a stay-at-home mom. So Craig one morning called the Utah Bar and said, hey, what are you guys doing for people who have cancer and catastrophic illnesses?
Identify what's important now, and that's kind of the win scenario. And there's some very critical things that you have to do very quickly. And a lot of this stuff, if you don't get it done within the first few weeks after you've been diagnosed with something, you lose that ability. You know, 90 days is often kind of a trigger, but if you can't wait till the 89th day and then say, I'm going to go fix this, it just doesn't work like that. There's a lot of stuff that takes a lot of time. And you got to do that in conjunction with the emotional and stability issues. You've got to sit down and sort out how you're going to deal with the emotional stuff. You know, you got to get a qualified mental health person to help you. You cannot underestimate the impact this has on you, your family, the people around you, and even your clients. And so that's the first thing, that you start dealing with that stuff. The second thing, you got to look at your insurance. And one of the things that we learned, and some of the people in our own firm did not pay attention to those time deadlines on the insurance. And a couple of them actually lost any ability to collect on insurance. Some of the firms, if you have a fatal diagnosis and there's time, you can actually take your life insurance in advance. And that's a tremendous benefit. You don't get all of it, but it's better than nothing, and it's better than if you lose your life insurance because you can't practice law anymore and you wind up having to go on COBRA. That's just a horrible, financial situation that you're in. The disability stuff, you got to deal with the disability quite quickly on that.
So in your pre-planning, you're not ill or anything like that, but you're understanding what your insurance coverage is from your employer, you know, your law firm or your corporate group or individual. But you're also making sure that you have adequate insurance, that you have adequate life insurance, and that you have adequate catastrophic insurance prior to anything happening. And hopefully nothing ever happens.
Can't get insurance for stuff that once it's happened.
Yeah, once it's happened, that, you know, they don't, well, it's very, very, very costly to get a life insurance policy once you have been diagnosed with an illness. We have a friend whose 38-year-old son was diagnosed with ALS, and for 2 years he's been on a ventilator. He did get a life insurance policy after the fact, but it's super, super expensive to hold on to that. So
he had to survive at least.
And he had to survive 2 years on it.
The third thing is you got to formulate a plan on how you're going to take care of your clients' needs. And, you know, sometimes you've got a pretty limited time to get, you know, documents and things like that to somebody in your firm. But then what I found, one of my partners says, no, you got to talk to the client. We had formulated a plan, and I called the client, and that was one of the hardest calls I've ever had to make, and say, I want you to understand, this is what's going on. I'm not going to be around that long, but here's how we've taken care of you. And you've got the plan in place. You know, that's one of the biggest things you can do for your client and for the firm. The other issue is, you know, malpractice. And again, you know, this is where you got to sit down with, you know, your firm management or you know, the bar or somebody else and say, here's the situation. We want to make sure we avoid malpractice. Malpractice either by ignoring the client or deferring the client, but it's a partnership that you've got to establish with the people to ensure the highest and best quality that you can provide to the clients to avoid. It's not just, concern for the client, but it's concern for your firm. Nance?
Well, hopefully some of this will be helpful to the attorneys and to the legal staff with the Utah State Bar. We just want to have you think about some of these things and not end up, similar to what happened to us. The tremendous support we've received from the Utah Bar and the Huntsman Cancer Institute, and the wonderful staff and doctors there, the folks at Parsons, Bailey, and Latimer, and also the people who have helped us prepare this short video. It cannot be underestimated. We want to thank you, and we all wish you health and happiness.
We appreciate everybody who helped on this thing and putting it together, and we hope that this touches you and applies directly to your life. And if you do have something like this, we are hopeful that it will be meaningful to you and helpful in dealing with these things as best as you can.